We're here at Divertimenti Marylebone High Street for the Divertimenti Culinary Salon, Women in Food, and it's my pleasure to welcome Felicity Cloake, and I have Perfect 2. Now, for the 2 or 3 people who have not read your column in The Guardian, and I know it's only about that.
A handful.
A handful. Tell us the premise, the idea behind Perfect.
Okay, it's a really, really simple idea. Basically, I take a recipe for something. It's usually something quite basic, like we've had baked beans in the last few weeks, we've got malt loaf, it might be paella or Thai green curry. Sometimes we get a bit exotic, but you know, it's a standard dish that most people will know. And I look at kind of 6 different recipes for it by, you know, either well-known chefs or people that are real specialists in that particular cuisine, and I test them against each other. So I, you know, take recipes of points of difference. You know, what beans do they use? How do they make the sauce? How do they cook the beans? How do they soak them? And I sort of test all these things out, and then I come up with what works for the perfect, the ultimate recipe. So I'm a little bit like a magpie, taking bits of everyone's recipes, stealing them, and putting them together into the perfect definitive recipe, which is a brave thing to say.
No, but you basically do the work, and then we get to
I like to think that it's what everyone would like to do, except that I'm lucky enough to get paid for it. So yes.
Now, how do you distinguish though between a recipe that's working to the best, to perfection, versus a personal taste?
That's really hard, actually. And I do sometimes say, I think, for example, I've been doing malt loaf, and which I absolutely love. I don't know if you've got a taste for it. It's quite a British esoteric thing. I don't know, it's a bit like Marmite, but in a traditional malt loaf, in an industrial malt loaf, they have raisins. Now, I actually found that Dan Leppard's recipe uses prunes, which I thought worked better with the savoury flavours of the malt. But I know that people are going to, you know, when that goes online tomorrow, people are going to be up in arms about the the lack of raisins. So I've said, if you prefer to use raisins, just use the same weight, because sometimes I know it's me. A few people say, oh, you don't like vanilla, you don't like this, and people have got to know my quirks. So sometimes if I think it's my personal taste, I do try and give a difference. But everything's subjective with cookery, isn't it? So. Well,
and I would imagine that you probably get lots of comments. I mean, people are probably quite fierce about
people are not backwards in coming forwards when they think I've got something wrong, which is always instructive. But I like that, I read all my comments. 99% of them are constructive. 1% of them I try not to worry about. But yeah, most people in food are nice, so I don't get too anxious about it.
And how do you choose the recipes? Because it's in Perfect 2, it's a very eclectic mix. And she said it's not kind of haute cuisine of something. You know, they're accessible dishes you want to eat.
I think it's got to be something. It's got to be. And we started off doing things like mashed potato and steak, really basics of cooking. They've got to be something that we feel that most of our readers will have an opinion on. So something like, we have had a few suggestions like, something like Thai jungle curry, and I just think, does your average reader make that? We have pad Thai, which is a little bit contentious. Lots of people said, oh, pad Thai, I'd rather have a pot noodle, and I think, well, we're not really catering for you. But it's got to be something that most people have an opinion on, which is why things like digestive biscuits are going to be really, really popular. Yeah, brownies, digestive biscuits, trifle. Things that your mum makes often are very, everyone's got
and these are the ones that can go really wrong too. And I think there's also a feeling that you should know how to make them, so you don't really want to ask a lot of questions.
Yes.
You feel a little bit like a culinary idiot.
Yeah, you should have inhaled along with, just with your mother's milk. You should know how to make these things, especially kind of things that are, I get a lot of Italians commenting when I do anything Italian. I get a lot of comments telling me that is not the way we make it, and then I get some other Italian comments saying, yes, that's right, and you're wrong, and everyone's got an opinion, so Italians don't mind.
So can we look forward to Perfect 3, Perfect 4, Perfect More, Perfect...
God, Perfect Infinite. I think the problem is, I don't know, after Perfect 2, how do I go on with another pun is the anxiety. But
see, that's going to be a challenge.
Exactly. That's my biggest worry at the moment, the next pun.
So everybody now, after seeing this, is going to send you in suggestions.
Yes, I know. Yes, please send me suggestions.
Well, Felicity Cloake, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.